Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we're going to be looking into any energy, insights, and guidance coming through for you for Virgo season as well as for September. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome my beautiful kindred spirits and anyone new who may be joining us here today for today's reading, which as I said, we're going to be looking into all those juicy details for Virgo season as well as for September. So we have a lot to dive into within these piles, but if you enjoy my content, if you're here quite often, or if you're maybe new and you'd like to see more of the videos that I have on this channel, I put out new videos for career, for spirituality, for your own self-growth, for love and romance and all sorts of things. So if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely feel free to subscribe as I put out new videos every single Monday. So feel free to hit the notification bell to stay updated. But before we start heading into each of the piles and the different runes on each of them, I do like to give you guys an opportunity to see the different ways in which you can check out the offerings of this channel as well, to not only support yourself and support this space, but to see what comes through for you for private readings. So I have snail mail readings open for September, and I also am open to digital readings as well, so through email or through DM, just let me know. All of the information on that will be down below if you have a specific question or query that you're interested in, especially if they're very time-based. Those digital readings could be really useful to you, and I'm still playing around with that space. But you can also check out the Mabon paper that I created this month and am super excited to have launched just here in August. These papers are dear and true to my heart, and I hand make all of the papers. Are 100% recyclable and biodegradable, and they're fun for different witchcraft that you're doing in that temperance energy of that balance of day and night, and offerings for different deities and spirit guides to give gratitude during this harvest season and other things like that. All of the information on that will be down below as well if you're interested in that kind of space. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started on these piles. So here for pile number 1, and with all of the piles we have a specific rune. So for pile number 1 we have the rune of Laguz. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but that is the rune here of pile number 1. For pile number 2 we have the rune of Hagalaz. Kind of looks like an H, so that is pile number 2. And lastly but not least, for pile number 3 we have the rune of Fehu. So that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to your pile, to the timestamps and things like that, I always like to offer you a moment here to take a deep and cleansing, grounding breath to really connect with yourself and with these piles and your intuition. So let's go ahead and take that deep cleansing breath here together now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose 1 pile, 2 piles, all 3 of the piles. You can flip-flop between them. There really is no one policing this sort of thing, so feel free to see what's coming through for you and what resonates. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description, as well as with the chapter marks of this video. And as I mentioned, if you're interested in the different offerings for snail mail readings, for private readings, or even in the different Mabon, more witchycraft stuff that I'm interested in and that you might be interested in, all of that will be down below in the description, as well as on my Instagram, through my Instagram community where I'm very active. So definitely feel free to check all that out down below. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello Group 1, if you've decided to choose this rune of Laguz, although I'm sure I'm still saying it wrong, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down right here for you so you can see it during your reading, as we are going to be using the charms, several different decks, watercolor affirmations, and the Antique Anatomy Tarot here today for your reading to look into not only Virgo season, but also into what's just coming in during your month of September, moving out of August and heading towards the very end of summer and start of fall here in the northern hemisphere, and the opposite over in the southern hemisphere. So we're going to see how those shifts and changes and transformations are happening, and how those seasonal and monthly effects are coming in for you. So with that in mind, as always, whenever I get these runes out, I like to see what it has in store for you in terms of the reading. And so for you, you have Laguz. Again, probably saying it wrong. That one just feels really weird on my tongue. This is the symbol. It is a quite gendered symbol, but I want you to think beyond the words of woman and femininity here and seek out the bigger picture here beyond gender. As when I wrote this, it was at a very different time. So anyways, it is one of the associations is woman, but mostly is water. So we have intuition, flow, balance, spirituality, dreams, femininity, subconscious, and meditation as the main words coming through whenever we seek out this specific rune. So I immediately got the feeling of like turning on the tap, like turning on the water, turning on the tap, making something start to go and start moving from a small trickle to something a little bit more in flow. And so that's what we're going to be thinking about when we move through your reading and see how that tap sort of watery flowing energy comes through for you. So let's go ahead and start looking into your month ahead here with September. As always, feel free to get settled, get cozy, get comfortable. I always think that's super important when trying to really take in these messages, is giving yourself the time to really soak them in and see what they have to say for you, and let them really take hold, but see what resonates for you, see what works best for you, and feel free to send your energy in through time and space here. But let's see the first three main energies showing up for you for the month of September. September, what is changing, shifting, and moving into your energetic field most prevalently for September for you? Group one. What do we have here? Okay, so the first thing that we have here is the 8 of elixirs. I did have to take a second and count those because sometimes they can get a little lost in this specific deck. But yeah, we have the 8 of elixirs here. It says things like let go potion, soul journey, the void, aura cleanse, despair, wake up potion. And this has a lot to do with sort of, like they said, waking up to something, noticing something, and then needing to make a change or a shift because the way that you were going previously was not really working for you. And so that's what I'm seeing already coming in from this elixirs card with the 8 of elixirs or the 8 of cups. But let's see what else is coming through for you. Group one. What else do you have coming through for your month of September? The main energies flowing into your field. Okay, I'm actually feeling, honestly, this card right below. Okay, so we have the Magician showing up. It says figure 1 here since it is the first card, so the number 1 might resonate with you, as well as 18 or 81 in some way. There is this feeling of having something in your power coming into hold, or trying to kind of having all of the tools in your favor to make something happen. And so seeing as you have something about letting something go and having the power to do so, there is this really freeing feeling that I'm getting from your cards already. Kind of like a weight being lifted, and maybe that's why that tap is opening, that flow is moving. But let's look a little bit further. Whoa, that one just whipped right out. So we also have the King of Elixir showing up here, which I think was the one that flew out previously, just before this card. So it definitely did want to say something. It was very forceful about it. So here we are with the King of Elixirs. It says calming tonic, the number 14. So we have 14, 18, 81, lots of 4s, 8s, and 1s showing up here in the number field for you. A lot of 4s and 8s have a lot to do with things that are very rooted in your career, in your job, in your finances, as well as in your home, and your idea of safety and control. So that's what's showing up here for those 3 cards so far. But when looking a little bit further, the things that I think are really interesting is, as I was talking about, we're turning on that tap. We're getting some sort of flow. It almost makes me think of a spigot. And like, you know, when you go to some spigots at like campgrounds, they just don't really turn on, or some are just like really rusted up. And it's really hard to get it going or to like get anything out of the kind of well down there. And so it seems like there's things in your life that give you passion, give you life, give you joy, give you reason. and it's kind of getting like stuck. It's getting rusted up. It's getting kind of caught in the gears, and there's this need to like put some oil on it, clean it up, really look through and refine things to, or rather just clean things to get to what it is that you want to bring out of that well, right? What that water is for you, what that nourishing energy is for you. So I feel like over the last few months, maybe you've been feeling kind of like stagnant energy. Things aren't moving. There isn't a flow. You don't have the power to get the things that you want done. There's things that just keep getting in your path, rusting up your gears. And a lot of flow is coming through here, but it's not going to be easy, right? Like when you think of trying to clean up a like rusty gears, it's not like easy to do to clean that. You've got to like put it in baths, you got to get some oil on it, you got to really rough up your hands a little bit. And I'm even seeing that here with like having to get down to not just looking at the surface level clean, but going deep into the marrow, deep into the bones, deep into these deeper tissues. And it seems that that is going to give you a lot more of this lighter, freeing, flowing feeling than if you just try to just hope it comes into play. So there definitely is like a need to make those decisions, to start actually actively putting in the effort to do that. And however that may feel for you, like I said, there is this feeling of wanting to do that in a space that is related to that 4 and that 8 energy. So things within your home, so actually aura cleansing your home in a spiritual sense, or just physically cleaning your home could help a lot in small sections, going deeper in the marrow. So it's not just cleaning up and tidying things from a surface level. It's like really deeply organizing your space, really deeply organizing your thoughts, really deeply organizing things into a planner, into your home, into your work life, really going through your stock, things like that. I just think are really important. Those practical things are going to help get those gears moving and flowing. And I'll go ahead and hold up the cards here because I've been talking a lot with just my hands today. But there is, like I said, that feeling of just letting something go as well. So it's not only just cleaning and working through it, but donating things, getting things out that aren't giving you joy anymore, that are getting in your space. And that's not just physically, although that's showing up a lot here, but also within your mental and emotional space. Who's kind of causing you a lot of that rusty disruption kind of feeling? What is kind of grinding your gears and just getting worse? Like, where are those things at? And how you might actually start to address those this month are the things that are going to clear up more and more as you move through the month and you get those gears moving. But it will take that effort to put in to make that happen. So with that in mind, I want to go ahead and pull you your next card. And as always with these, I like to pull a blessings card. You could also see it as like the energy most in your favor this month, or a tool or opportunity that's going to be really presenting itself to you. So let's see what that is for you this month of September, Group 1. An opportunity, a blessing, a tool in your favor. Group 1. What's a tool in your favor? A blessing, an opportunity arising. Okay, so we have friendship. Interesting. So this is very unrelated, I feel like, to the other cards that we were getting. I think it's just something in general that they wanted to kind of bring up here, that Spirit wanted to bring up. There's this feeling of, like I said, friendship. And maybe there's cleansing that needs to happen within a friendship, and maybe that's where some of that weight is going to be lifted, because you can almost see them lifting their hands, lifting themselves. So there might be like conversations that need to be had with certain friends. There just could be things that have been kind of, like I said, surface level. You've been friends, but you haven't really talked about the deeper things for a while. There could be a deeper conversation that needs to be had, or a more intimate conversation in some way, because we do have a lot of elixirs here. So kind of taking some more time to not only have someone else become a better friend for you, but I also think reaching out to them. Maybe there's friends who need your help right now or need your assistance, and they're going to be such an offering to you and you back to them. And I think that that's just something to think about. Also, just in general, you might have the opportunity to have a friend come into your life, a new friendship to bloom and blossom and grow during this time as well. And that's really beautiful to see too, to see those seeds grow and to really nurture them to grow. And sometimes, like I said, when we cleanse out those things, when we get that flow moving, what do we get out of that flow? We get nourishment, we get those sorts of things, but we also can get new opportunities to come in because we made space for it. Thinking of a closet that's just full of all this like stuff, I mean, you can't put anything new in it. You can't build anything new in it. So this is giving you more space to build new friendships, to build new relationships, to lift yourself up a little bit higher. So that's what I'm seeing here with your friendship card. And since we're already kind of on the mindset of friendship and relationships, I'm going to go ahead and move to your relationship card. As always, I like to pull monthly a relationship message to think of for all of your relationships as a whole if you would like, or you can kind of send in the energy of a specific relationship you'd like to look into. This is a collective message, so we'll see how that fits for you and resonates. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but this could be with your relationship with yourself, with spirit, with a family member, a friend, a romantic relationship, however you see it. So let's see what's coming through for you for a relationship message. Okay, so you got here geranium, virility, shake it up a little, you got this. I almost felt like this feeling of like shimmying, like shake it up a little bit, see what comes through when you shake things up a little bit. And maybe that's because the foundations that you built with these people need a little shake up. Maybe that's not always in like a fun party sense, but just in general, like there's just something that needs to get shaked up from the very deep bone foundational structures within these relationships, but that's what we have showing up here, this feeling of like really going to the roots, getting deep into the earth, really looking at your relationships as a whole, and to truly see what's transforming deep within those. Like I said, there's just this feeling of something really deep happening, not looking at the surface, looking beyond, looking under the surface of the water, not only in your relationships, and I think it's in every aspect, and that's coming through, looking deep below the water as well. So that's what I have showing up here for your relationship message. See how that shakeup is kind of relating to the relationships in your life. But we're going to go ahead and pull you the next card, which this one is going to be your Virgo season message. So on Virgo season, we're going to see what's coming through most for you and how that relates to the Virgo kind of energy that's coming through for all of us. So let's go ahead and see what's coming in for you for Virgo season. Group 1, a Virgo season message or lesson that you might be moving and learning through, growing, refining. Oh my gosh, those just flew right across. So we actually got 2 here, so we're going to see what those are. So here we go. Let's see. So we have the antagonist next to the reader. Interesting. So we have a reader and the antagonist. So the antagonist here says at the very bottom, opposition, deceit and malice. And then we also have here the reader, interpretation, choice, and agency showing up here. So the reader is almost making sure that what you are reading and what you are consuming, what you are learning, consuming on the internet, are consuming within your social media, consuming within your personal social bubble, however that is for you, also making sure that what's flowing into your water isn't damaging for you, is what I just got. Like that feeling of like what's coming through the tap does need to get cleaned and filtered as well, because it's been so rusty for so long, like what needs to be filtered through. And it's making sure that you're not getting like specific messages that are just not useful to you. So it's like when we scroll on social media for so long, not thinking that it's affecting us, but there could be things that are affecting us. Maybe in our bubble, there's people who are sort of messing with our own moral code or going against our values, but we're letting that kind of slide across the surface of the water. So again, there's something a lot deeper happening here, and it's having the agency to discern when things are useful in your waters and what is kind of polluting your waters. So that's what I'm getting here, and the reason why I felt like that pollution kind of aspect is coming through here is with the antagonist, with opposition, deceit, and malice. There is that feeling of these kind of combining together and making sure that there isn't someone kind of trying to get in your brain, get in your bubble, get in your water, trying to kind of pollute it very subtly in ways that you maybe didn't notice. So that's what I'm seeing here for your Virgo season, is to really look out for those sort of things and try to refine and be more intentional about the people, the places, the things that you consume, the things that flow into your water, into your space, into your sacred well, and allowing those things to be better filtered and better understood and better analyzed, because otherwise they're just going to keep trickling in. So that's what I'm getting here for your Virgo season message. We're going to go ahead and move on to your charms here in just a moment, and then we'll also pull you a watercolor affirmation. But if you are enjoying this type of reading, if you are enjoying these monthly readings or any of the readings that I do, I really would appreciate if you could give this video a like, and also let me know in the comments down below, as always, what you're thinking, how you're feeling about it, and the collective messages. I do appreciate any feedback always. And also you can check out the Kindred tip jar if that calls to you. It all comes back to the channel, and I really do appreciate any support here. It goes a long way. But we're going to go ahead and pull you a watercolor affirmation. I'm also thinking about maybe making some more of these, so if you guys would be interested in another video about that, do let me know as well. But let's see some affirmations. Group 1. An affirmation for Group 1 for Virgo season and September. Okay, we got a few of them. So I might just pull them all, honestly. Let's see what came through. Interesting that over here on what you need to let go is what they're giving you as a message is inhale courage and exhale fear. And there seems to be like maybe a bit of fear, or like, it's hard to sometimes let things go and to have to look that deep. So this is sort of an affirmation you could think about when you're moving through those spaces. We also have here, don't waste a today with a tomorrow. So I always think of this as like, when you're like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. And then your tomorrows just become the next day and the next day and the next week and the next month. And so this is don't waste a today with a tomorrow. So it's really seizing the day in a sense. And so that's what I'm really getting here. And it fell near friendship and close to the antagonist. So there is that idea of to starting to actually use your voice there, to starting to actually make change within these friendships if there's things that need to be addressed that have something to do with this antagonist energy, and using your voice very clearly because when I made these, I accidentally spelled the voice message here wrong, and I was going to just redo it and start over, but it is kind of a reminder really to really be honest and very direct about the way that you communicate, and really think through the words and the choice of words that you use, because that is going to give a better, clear communication to other people. So if you are going to be using your voice, if you are going to be needing to have a more honest conversation with others, it's not only being honest, but also very direct and very pure or potent with the messages that you're trying to say. So those are all of your cards and your affirmations, but let's go ahead and get your final details here for the month with your charms. So we're going to be mixing these up and looking into any of those last final advice and details straight onto the top of the card. So let's see what comes through for you. Feel free, as always, to send your energy in. And let's see, Group 1. Okay, not too many here. Let's see, I'll zoom you in so you can actually look a little closer. So we had a lot falling on your 2 Virgo season messages, which I find really interesting. We do actually have more on that freedom, free-flowing energy showing up here with the cage. Although it didn't show up as a cage, it showed up as the open cage whenever I see it that way. So you have new opportunities on your way in, but the only way to have those new opportunities come in, to have that tap flow, to have that movement, as I said, is to kind of cleanse out what is in your polluting your water or getting in your space. And another form of pollution is showing up here because we have the apple charm, but it's the apple with it's the rotting apple, or it's the one that's got like the worm inside, something worming themselves into your space. So to get that freedom feeling, it's having the ability to transform your spaces, and this is your rituals, your habits, your social media, your job, your career, where the people you hang out with, really looking through all of the file folders, right? And seeing where things have gone a little awry, where the worm has kind of etched its way through. And that's going to give you a lot of transformation, because we also have the transformation charm, as this used to be a spoon handle and now is a pendant. It just shows that a situation that once looked like something can completely flip itself and be used as something else, or be completely changed if you are willing to put the effort in to do so. And so that's what's showing up here as well. And then more charms that showed up here on your antagonist card is we do have the too many eggs in your basket, because we have the basket here, and whenever I see this, it makes me think that you have too many eggs in your basket. You've had too much on your plate, which might be a part of it. There is the friendship charm actually showing up here too. I always think of this as like an act of kindness or friendship, or gifting to someone, gifting a warm hug kind of feeling, because it makes me think of like someone gifting really warm mittens to keep someone warm, right? It's a really lovely gesture. And that's showing up here next to that use your voice. So I really think whatever needs to be let go of, whatever needs to maybe happen within your friendships or your relationships this time, where there feels like there might be that antagonist energy, I do think it will get solved within the month, but I do think that, again, it does really make a difference in how you communicate. We also have the methodical charm of like melody whenever I see this too. So it also can be that just the people in your life who you have having this malice from is, again, very subtle, right? It's like, when you listen to a song and you're not listening to the lyrics, you're just like bopping along to the beat and you think it's amazing, and then you hear it like for the 5th or 6th time and you realize what the song is actually about, and it like changes your whole perspective on it. That's kind of what I'm getting from this charm, is this feeling of like you saw someone for one thing and like you're really seeing them for the other thing now, and you're realizing their true colors or their true intentions coming through. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're malice, but there is something of clarity showing up there. The last couple of charms that you have here are like more on that femininity coming through. So again, if you feel called to utilize the idea of gender within this reading, then we do have sort of more female energy showing up here. And then we also have the sort of Aries charm. So this kind of reminds me of Aries as well, with sort of Aries or Taurus with the bull or the ram. So those are all of your charms and cards here. We had a lot coming in, but a very clear message that just kept coming through in various forms within your life. So there's a lot of cleansing, a lot of reevaluating coming through here. So I hope that you do or have found these messages rather very useful and helpful moving into your month in Virgo season here within September. And also, if you did, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below. As I mentioned earlier, it really is lovely to hear your feedback and your thoughts. Also, if you've been here a while, or maybe you just showed up here recently on this little space and corner in the internet, then definitely feel free to subscribe and join this little Kindred Spirit community and be a part of the fun that happens here. I have over 100 videos already on this channel that you can binge and check out for your own self-growth and empowerment, but you can also check out the new ones that I have coming in by hitting the notification bell or subscribing, as I put out new videos every single Monday. So with that said, I do hope you enjoyed this reading. If you want to get a reading even deeper, then definitely feel free to check out the offerings I have down below and on my Instagram. I do snail mail readings, or I send readings to you in the mail, and I also do other types of readings too. If you have any ideas, feel free to DM me or email me, and we can customize a type of reading just for you. And I also have Mabon paper out right now, so if that's something you're interested in for your own magical workings, then you can check out all the details down below. So thank you so much for joining me within this space, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this specific rune of Hagalaz, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set your rune down here as we are going to look into the meaning on that here and see how it resonates here in a second. But we are going to be also using the charms today as well as the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using several different oracle decks, and I'll have all of this listed in the description down below, as well as the Antique Anatomy Tarot, which I'm very excited to be bringing out now that we're getting closer over here to the autumn season, as well as spring in the southern hemisphere, and it's got a little bit of both with the botanicals and that earthly energy too for both sides of the hemispheres. So there's a lot of balance coming in, but speaking on balance, we actually have something kind of anti-balance coming in with your specific rune, and I want to talk about what that is. So let's go ahead and look at yours real quickly here with Hagalaz. So I'll go ahead and put this up here if you want to pause and look through this, but it says, Hail, Hagalaz. Outside source, destruction, limitation, natural disaster, hazard, and fury and drama. So whenever I look at this rune, it makes me think of things, and then what I was immediately getting is obviously the idea of hail, like a hailstorm. It comes out of nowhere, it can make a lot of damage, it can be really powerful, and sometimes we need that destruction, we need that kind of shake up. So I want to see how it comes through with your cards and charms and see how it's kind of melding with each of these and see how that resonates. But if you are ready and settled and ready to go, then feel free to send your energy in. Otherwise, feel free to get cozy, get a snack, get some water, some tea, whatever you'd like to really get settled for this. And if you're already sort of feeling quite settled as well, feel free to check out the other video that I did after this if you want. That's more of an ASMR style, as I know a lot of you really enjoyed that. But we're going to go ahead and get started with this one on your month of September. I was almost going to say August, on September, and see what's coming through for you in 3 different energetic cards. So the main energy is coming through for you, Group 2, for the energy of not only Virgo season, but also into specifically September, your September season. Okay, I'm actually feeling both, but I kind of want to go ahead and pull you your last card and then we'll reveal those. So one more card. All right, they're just flying out. All right, so we have the 5 of rods here, as well as the 9 of blades and the page of coins. Really interesting. So we've got a little bit of everything flowing into here with all 3 of your cards. Feel free to pause and look at them if you'd like. But what I am getting, let's look at these real quick. So what I'm getting is this feeling of sort of like okay, let me just start here. So, okay, we've got the page of coins here, and the page of coins has a lot to do with experimentation. There's this playful experiencing kind of energy that comes through from this page of coins. It's always sort of like the coin energy is very related to the earthly energy, the earthly suit, the earthly realm. So things like your career, your finances, your job, your home, security, safety, your body, the way you physically interact with the world, right? Tangible things you can physically touch and the textures and things like that. That's what's coming through with this card. And so with those sorts of ideas in mind, there's something in your life within this coming month that you are ready to experiment with. You're ready to kind of shake things up, like we were talking about with Hagalaz, right? Change things, to shift things a little bit, but you have to do it in a very haphazard kind of way. It makes me think as like an artist, sometimes you just have to throw some paint at the wall, throw some paint on the paper and see what happens. It's very experimental. It's very kind of destructive in a very creatively nourishing way. So it's not coming at your life from like grabbing the sledgehammer and just like beating down walls in your house kind of thing. Although if you're like going through that to construct and deconstruct, and that's fine, but there is this feeling of like deconstructing something, not from a destructive standpoint, but from a constructive standpoint. So that's what I'm getting here immediately from this Page of Coins. But there is a bit of a conflict here between actually heading towards that experimental phase or that experimental stage of that deconstruction, because you have the Five of Wands, which does represent sort of more of that deconstruction energy, but it also can represent kind of feeling at odds or at war with something or feeling at conflict with something. And a lot of what you are at conflict is your own thoughts, because the Nine of Swords here does have a lot to do with kind of staying up all night, kind of really over analyzing things, not overlooking, but over analyzing, over criticizing, over refining things. And I think, like I said, experimentation isn't about refinement. It's about just having something happen. It's cause and effect and just playing. And I think you want to be a little bit more playful, either in your job, at your home, being more playful with the people in your life, being more playful in your life in general, however you see it. Like it could be anything. Those are just the things that come up most with this earthly suit. But like I said, you have a little bit of everything coming up here. But there is this feeling of wanting to play and feeling at odds, at war, at conflict, feeling like you're not allowed it, right? You need to keep things in a nice, clean box. And this has been coming up in several different readings. So if you've been getting that a lot within the readings that I've been doing, that feeling of a box, which showed up, I think, in the last 3 videos, then that might just be that message is just continually coming through for you. But yeah, there's just this feeling of wanting to keep things contained, keep things tidy, keep things refined and direct and lovely and luscious and good, but that perfectionism is kind of holding you back. And I think you know this. I think you are aware of this. A lot of us who are perfectionists are very much aware of that we are. And sometimes that awareness isn't enough to get us out of the funk of doing it, get us out of the funk of play and experimentation and exploring and wonderment. And I think that's what your soul is really asking for right now, is to play a little bit more, to experiment a little bit more. And I think you're going to have to go to a little bit of a conflict with yourself throughout the month. It's going to be something that you're continually kind of working and battling through. But I think the battle is kind of worth it. I think that you're going to get frustrated with yourself. I think you're going to want something. You're going to kind of go 2 steps forward and come 2 steps back. But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I know it doesn't always sound like the nicest, but I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I think it's going to be a place in which you learn a lot and you grow a lot and you understand yourself a lot more. You understand the mechanisms of your perfectionism. You understand the mechanisms behind the control. And then that's going to give you a lot more openings down the line to kind of extend your box a little bit more, to extend it a little bit more, change the shape of it and play around and make it be a little bit moldable, versus so strict and rigid. So that's what I'm already getting from your cards, but I want to look, obviously, as always, a little further. So we're going to move on to your next card, and this one, as always, is kind of the meat of the reading. We're going to be looking at the blessing coming through for you. So this could be a blessing, or you could see it more so as a tool that's going to be most energetically in your favor this month, or an opportunity on its way into that you can harness and take advantage of. So let's see what that opportunity, that tool, that energy or blessing that is on its way in for you this month or this Virgo season. So for September, what's the blessing coming through for September for group 2 here? Okay, so we have dreams. Interesting, because we did get sort of the dreaming card over here of the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords usually talks about the more negative side of dreams, right? The things that we overanalyze in our dreams or look a little too deeply into, or, kind of wake us up in the middle of the night, those sorts of things. And that they're kind of continually being on your mind. But as I said, this is sort of, like I said, you're kind of at odds with this energy. So I feel like dreams, they're going to give you portals to look at, again, more at this box of perfectionism. They're showcasing these things to you for a reason. Your dreams are showcasing these energies, these people, these signs and signals for a reason. And so I think that they're going to give you an opportunity. They're going to be a tool for you to start to understand where you can kind of let go, where you can experiment a little bit more, where you can kind of give yourself a little bit more freedom to play a little bit more. And then also, just so you don't feel so boxed in, I think that they're going to give you a lot more inspiration even. So that's what I'm seeing here from dreams. I want to see if anything else comes through for you, and definitely let me know in the comments down below if you're seeing anything specific, especially with like this window and this moon. The window is giving me that feeling of like hail on a window and tapping on the window, right? So it might even be that you are, like I said, getting these intuitive hits on the window, or like rain on the side of the window, and it's maybe sounds really abrupt, but I think it's going to be very clearing and healing to see these things. So take it how it resonates for you. I know dreams are a very fluid space, so they can mean very different things for all of us, but that is what we're getting here for your blessing, tool, or opportunity on its way in for you for this month. But let's go ahead and move on to your relationship message, and then we'll do your Virgo message for the month. So let's see your relationship message. So this is going to be a message of guidance or advice within the relationships in your life. So this could be any relationship. You could see it as just in general, see what comes through. But it could be family, it could be with a romantic partner, it could be friendships, spirit, with yourself, however you see it. But feel free to send that in. Let's see, group 2. What do you have coming in for your relationships? The energy or guidance coming through for your relationships this month of September. Group. Oh goodness. I think I'm honestly feeling this back card, but we'll see. So interestingly, the one that I pulled out is actually the African violet, and it is spirituality. It's time to connect with what you believe, is what's showing up here. And I think that's interesting, since you had dreams. You have a lot showing up in that like dreamier realm, and you don't have any cup cards, which are very much specific to that emotional, dreamier, intuitive realm. So again, more of that experimentation, more of that playfulness is starting to kind of bleed into things, and then starting to branch out into other things. And in this case, it's in your relationships. So you might be also seeking out your dreams for another reason outside of this box energy that we were already getting up here, and more so a relationship that you might be connecting to, a spirit guide, or you might be connecting to a loved one through dreams in some way. They might be giving you subtle signs and symbols and symbolism, tapping on the window, seeing who communicates back. That's what I'm getting here from spirituality right away, is more of a spiritual connection, obviously, as it is spirituality, but it could also be that you're just really becoming more spiritual, or having more deeper spiritual or religious conversations with your loved ones, talking about ethics, talking about psychology, sociology, talking about what the universe means to you, talking about bigger, deeper things than surface level, like, what did you eat today? You know what I mean? I just feel like you're having deeper conversations with loved ones and others. So that's what's coming through here as well. But let's go ahead and get your Virgo message. So this is going to be for specifically Virgo season. So this is going to be kind of interacting with what we already have here, but with the kind of lens of Virgo. And also, if you are enjoying this reading so far, definitely feel free to let me know by sending a like to this video, or letting me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. You can also check out the Kindred tip jar down below, as it's a great way to support this space if you have been enjoying these readings over the past few months, past few days, or however you wish. It's all down below, and it's a great way to support this space. It all comes right back to the channel. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and look at your card here, or possibly even cards. We'll see. So here we go. Virgo season message or lesson coming through for group 2. Group 2, Virgo season. Very analytical, refinement kind of stuff already within Virgo, with that planning nature. but it's more mutable than that. Okay, so definitely more of a mutable energy coming in here with the Ace of Thread and Fiber, but I want to pull one more. I felt this feeling to get two with not only group 1, but you as well. So one more Virgo message here for group 2. Ooh, and we have the Artist. Interesting. The Artist is really interesting because I was already talking about that feeling of like splatting paint on paper, or ripping up paper and seeing what happens, or just experimenting and trying something out of your ordinary. And it doesn't have to be in an artistic way, although that is showing up here for you, but it could be just anything in your life, just experimenting a little bit more. So here we are with the Artist. It says creativity, ingenuity, and labor showing up here at the top. And then we also had over here the Ace of Thread with Fiber, and it says wandering, warmth, and gentleness. So that is the 2 cards that you got here. And seeing as you have like this dreamy, sort of spiritual, very open kind of energy, that you're opening yourself up to something, and then there's that gentleness, that warmth, that wandering feeling, that wonderment, and the Artist with creativity, is what I'm getting is you're very at odds with creativity. Maybe you've had a lot of creative blocks recently, or you've been kind of feeling a little bit like stuck in your head. And I know personally as an artist myself, I can get very stuck in my head. I can look a little too deeply into things, or analyze and try to refine everything to the point that it doesn't even look very creative anymore. I'm very aware of that. So maybe you're feeling that same kind of energy where you're kind of refining, you're looking, you're planning, you're trying to make something happen, and there's resistance, there's sort of friction there. And what you need is more of like a gentle, like just chill and meditation and creativity that isn't for anyone else. Maybe just opening a journal and splatting the paper, or having some sort of way to create without other eyes on you, having other judgment on you, having other criticism on you, because Virgo season has a lot of critique energy. It has a lot of refinement and trying to organize things, putting things in a box sometimes. So this is sort of a rebellion against that. And since we had Hagalaz, that makes a lot of sense, right? You're kind of rebelling against the norm. You're trying to kind of pound against it. You're trying to kind of push and break those barriers. And that's what we're really getting here, is to get more creative, to wonder a little bit more, to play and experiment. So at the heart of that, those are like the main energies coming through with everything for you. So before we go ahead and move on to your charms here, to get your last little details with the bits and bob details, we're going to pull you an affirmation. So let's see what affirmation comes through for you, group. Oh, you got 2. Interesting that you got 2 very different, very different cards. They almost feel like they correlate to the 2 that we just pulled in color. But we have chill out, and then we have be a little bolder. So there is this feeling too to maybe find more of a middle ground where it doesn't have to be so, friction against each of them. But there is this feeling of wanting to chill things out too. It almost makes me think like, ice, that feeling of like chilling something to like the bone, chilling something to ice, chilling something to that hail sense. That kind of chill out, and then be a little bolder, and those boulders coming from the sky. So a lot coming through with that same like Hagalaz energy, that feeling of hail. Might even be interesting to look more into the spiritual meanings behind hail and looking even deeper. That might be something that would be really useful to you. But yeah, we got chill out and be a little bolder as your affirmations. But to finish off your reading, as always, we're going to look into the last little details here with the bits and bobs, little charms. Feel free to send your energy in and we'll cast them right on top. So here we go. September, Virgo season for group 2. Okay, not too many here. I'm going to go ahead and, as always, zoom you in a little bit so you can see what we have here. What I think is really interesting, what called out to me right away, is over here next to your page of coins here, or the page of Pentacles is the Leo symbol. So it might be that the things that you're feeling very boxed in are coming from the previous season of Leo, because here you have Leo showing up here, or it might be a Leo in your life that's making you maybe feel that way or kind of giving you those critiques. But there is courageous too, so there is this feeling of kind of breaking out of those barriers that you've kind of built within Leo season. You have even more showing up here, which is making me think to like break that glass, break those barriers, to break those feelings of that boxed in energy that's coming through, because you also have the little hammer charm here, and it's kind of like breaking at those windows, is what I'm getting here. And there's also this feeling of maybe feeling overwhelmed on trying something new, on some big project even that you're maybe taking up. There's this overwhelm, so it's also making sure that you give yourself a little bit more grace as well, to not have to, maybe next to that chill out is also planning in more time to chill out, actually making more time to read a book or to, I don't know, go hiking or whatever it is that makes you feel really chill and calm. That's also coming in here and using it as a tool. Interestingly, you also got the Neptune charm. Whenever I think of Neptune, it always makes me think of spirituality, of looking deeper, diving deeper, and it's also a very dreamy energy. When I was a kid, I used to actually think that Neptune was like all water, so it makes me think of like really diving deep to the center and surface of your dreams, and that's coming through as well in your dream card. So there is a very spiritual side to that experimentation. So it also could be that you want to just throw things on your paper, or to get creative in that sense for a spiritual purpose as well, for offerings, or for you could even like cover an entire page with paint just so that you could scry in it and see what comes through, see what creatures, see what images come through for you, very much like a Rorschach test. I'm not sure what those are called, but you know what I mean. And then there's more symbolism coming through here within your dreams, and bolder colors. And then you also have the love charm showing up here. It's a very like, whenever I see this one, it makes me think of like your relationships or your romantic relationships coming in here. And next to that, there is miscommunication, and then there's also that warmth and gentleness. So I feel like something also is going to be kind of cushioned out or better understood in a relationship when it comes to maybe some miscommunication, or not fully understanding maybe the deeper part of things that we were talking about earlier with those deeper conversations, and maybe that also is just something to really bring up so that you can have more understanding with each other, and that might actually give you a lot more connection with these people by having deeper conversations. So that's what I'm getting here from all of your charms and your cards here today. Experimentation, play, and allowing yourself to experiment is like the biggest things coming through, as well as spirituality and signs and signals. But I do hope you enjoyed this reading and you got something out of it. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. I love to hear your feedback and your thoughts with these. It does make a huge impact on the channel, so I really do appreciate it. And also be sure to give this video a like. It makes a big difference too. And if you haven't already, if you'd like to, definitely consider subscribing to this Kindred Spirit space, as I put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, for your own self-growth, for empowerment, I even did a tarot sleepover this last reading, which was more of an ASMR style. I'm always having fun playing around with new ideas here, so definitely feel free to subscribe if you'd like to seek out these different answers and these different readings. And also you can hit the notification bell to stay updated. But if you'd like to look even deeper than this specific reading, if you want to look even deeper into a specific question that you may be kind of wondering on, or things like that, then definitely feel free to DM me or email me, or check out all of the different things that I have down below for private readings. I'm happy to do more custom private readings these days, but you can also check out the fan favorite readings of the snail mail readings that I do, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter and all that fun jazz, and they are very treasured readings, so definitely feel free to check out all of that down below, as well as the helpful and honest reviews. You can also check out the Mabon paper that I have out specifically for Mabon, for the autumn equinox, for that balance, that temperance energy. So if that's something you're interested in as well, if you're more magically or witchcraft inclined, then that's definitely something to check out too, especially with all this artsy, creative energy coming through. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I do hope you got something out of it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this specific rune of Fehu, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down here as always so you can see it during your reading, and we'll look even deeper into that specific rune and how it relates to your cards here in a second. But we are going to be using the charms. We're going to be using the watercolor affirmations as well as several different oracle decks and the Antique Anatomy Tarot, which I think is just perfect for this time of year. I'll have all of that linked down below so you can check out what I use here today in the description. But yeah, let's go ahead and start diving into it by looking first at your runes. So as always, whenever I pull out these runes, I like to do them more intuitively and see what comes through and see if it really has a place within your reading. So we're going to be looking at this specific rune. It looks a lot like an F, and it is the main word of Fehu and cattle. So it says here the main words of value and worth, financial worth, prosperity, trade, money, and bartering. So whenever I see this specific rune coming up, it has a lot to do with the earthly energies, which has come up in the last pile and a little bit in the first pile as well. So there is something about that earthly energy coming back in now that we are moving into that Virgo season, that more mutable clay-like energy of the earthly realm. So whenever we're looking at those earthly things, that's the things that we're thinking about are your finances, your prosperity. We're looking at your job, your career, those goals that you have, planning, those sorts of things. So we're going to see what comes through within this reading in relation to the sense of value and worth, and if it relates specifically to your career, or maybe if it's more to do with the value that you hold on people and other things within your life. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, feel free to get settled, get cozy, grab some water, a tea, grab yourself a nice snack, or you can even get cozy with a nice blanket, however you wish to really get grounded and rooted and centered for this reading. And also feel free to send your energy in as you are ready through time and space, because that makes a big difference on the cards here. So let's go ahead and get started. So group 3. We're going to be pulling 3 different cards here to look into the main, most potent, most abundant energies coming through for you, specifically within this month. So I was feeling this specific card. I don't know. Maybe we'll just take all 3, honestly. And maybe one more as well. I don't know. Feeling generous with the cards today. Let's see what we've got. Okay. So right off the bat, we've got a lot of 2s. We've got Temperance, and then we've got the 2 of Rods showing up here. That was our main energy. We also have the World card and the Knight of Blades. Okay, so we've got a lot showing up here with that mental realm, as well as that passionate realm, and something sort of wrapping up. There feels like quite a few things happening here. And the reason why I feel like there's almost like a chaotic energy to your month, and not like in a bad way, not in like a chaotically like upsetting way, but more like things are moving, things are kind of gaining momentum, because the Knight of Blades here showcases this feeling of momentum. They are very direct. They're really, once they've got an idea in their mind, there's nothing that's going to stop them from getting it done. You know, that's what that kind of energy is. Sometimes they kind of rush into things and they're a bit impulsive, but they definitely do follow their impulse. They do follow what is on their mind and what is present in their life, and they really kind of just let things flow into place and kind of trust in them as well. They're very trusting and very like quick and witted and very fast with the things that they get done, which doesn't always mean that they're very quality or that they always think things through, but there is a sense of like momentum and ready to get things moving and flowing for you. And the reason why I feel like there's sort of a difference in that chaotic energy, and the reason why there feels like there's kind of a few different things happening here, is because we also have the World here, which showcases things wrapping up, things coming to an end, or this wholesome energy. There's this energy of things coming full circle is really what I get here, is this feeling of coming full circle. So maybe something that happened this time last year has finally come full circle, something you've been putting your mind on, you've been directing yourself forward, or maybe the idea came to you a year ago and you're finally being able to make movement on it, and that's why you're so excited to do it. Whatever really resonates for you, but there is something kind of coming full circle, getting all of the pieces together, right? They've got all the little pieces here, the whole picture. And then alongside that, you also have the Two of Rods, and the Two of Rods showcases finally making or planning to make movement. So this month you might not actually finally have the momentum to actually do the thing, but you're definitely planning to make the thing happen. You're finally refining those little points to actually start doing the thing. Whatever that thing is for you, whatever, if that's like within your career, within your own growth, in that sense, or if it's just like the things that you put value in, those ideas that you've had in your mind for a while. It could be something really small. It doesn't have to be like this massive idea, but something coming full circle in that space, and you finally getting a little bit more momentum on it. Because the Two of Rods also usually showcases someone holding the world in their hands, or holding a phone in their hands, or a laptop in some sort of way, in a more modern sense. But basically it's like you finally writing into your planner that you're gonna start doing this thing. You're actually putting it from your brain and into reality in some way. You're starting to make it a priority in your life. You're making it actually not be something that you hope you find time for, but you actually actively seek time for. Maybe because some loose ends have been kind of closed off, and you're feeling like you have the space and time to do that, especially since we have Temperance here, which showcases a tempering of energy, a finding of balance, a feeling less overwhelmed by something that you can't get something done, and things kind of coming back into focus, coming back into balance. So that's what I'm getting here too. And we also have the brain here, so a new idea coming into fruition. So yeah, that's what I'm already getting. I'm getting like really pepped up by your guys' pile, not gonna lie. Like there's something that feels really peppy, like you've got a step, pep to your step, right? So I don't know if you're feeling it already or you're just gonna start feeling it as the month goes by, but there is definitely an idea that you're making room for now that you have the time and energy, since something is wrapped up, to get something moving and flowing and moving forward. So that's what I'm seeing here already, but let's look a little bit further as always. So with this specific card, we're going to be pulling a blessing card as always. This one is going to be not only a blessing card, you can see it as however you wish, but I usually see it as like a big theme, a main opportunity, or a tool that's going to be energetically in your favor this month, however you see it. So that's what we're going to look into first for you, group 3, a specific energetic tool, an opportunity, a blessing in your favor, or energy on your side this month. So we got good luck here. We also had underneath that, we had well-being, in case that resonates for any of you. But yeah, we have good luck being kind of the main one that I was getting here, which is always lovely to have showing up. Good luck maybe helping you towards your well-being, or there's a lot of butterfly energy showing up here at the top. So I'll lift this up because there's usually a lot to look into within the imagery here. So feel free to pause if you'd like. But yeah, I'm just seeing like a lot of this butterfly energy, this fluttering of wings. I almost am getting like butterflies in my stomach, just like the idea of you finally doing this thing. It's kind of nerve-wracking, or kind of fluttery and floaty and exciting, but also a little bit like, I don't know. You know, that's kind of what I'm getting from your pile so far. Like there's a lot of energy to this idea, and there's a lot that maybe you feel like is kind of riding on this idea as well, and that you put a lot of value into it, but maybe you're worried that other people don't put that same value into it as well, is what I'm getting here. And it has to be for you, is what I'm getting with this well-being card. What you are growing, what you are building, what you are making in this space, what you're putting your time into, there's value here. There's value, and there's a reason for it. And that you following this idea isn't something frivolous. It isn't something just like a quick little flutter and then it moves on. There is a value in what you are pursuing, and I think that you should definitely, if you're feeling up to it, to do it. because there is also a lot of good luck on your side too, which is lovely to see. There's a lot of signs and signals as well, giving you a lot of guidance this month, I would say, because especially if you have animal spirit guides and other kinds of things, or like spiritual messages rather than spirit guides, that are coming through for you, then those are things to listen to. So when you see feathers on your walk, or when you see ladybugs, or you see that leaf that falls specifically onto a word on a page that you're reading or something like that, those serendipitous moments are giving you more of that good luck energy, and they're there for a reason. So that's something to also listen to, because they're offering that up to you as well. So with that in mind, we're going to pivot the reading towards relationships, and then we'll be heading into your specific Virgo energy reading messages for the Virgo season. But first, we're going to be looking into a relationship message, and I love to do these for the monthly readings, and this is going to be a specific message to give you a little bit of advice or more knowing on a specific relationship in your life, or relationships in general throughout the month of September. So this is going to be either a spiritual relationship, it can be a relationship with yourself, with family members, platonic relationships, friends, it can be romantic relationships, however you see it. But feel free to send that energy through. Okay, we've got a lot already throwing themselves out here. So we have a lot of cards showing up for you. I'm going to go ahead and take the first two that showed up. We had Fuchsia with True Feelings. Within you is all you need to know. And then below that, you have Bluebell with Gratitude. Be thankful for what is good now. So there seems to be something about someone maybe finally telling their true feelings to you, and you feeling very grateful for that, or maybe you're grateful of yourself for doing the same, for being very honest and open and vulnerable with someone, showing your true feelings, showing your true side, showing your true colors. But there is something there. That Temperance energy is also showing up for me a lot here, this feeling of like maybe balancing something out, because like I said, I was getting all these butterflies in my stomach kind of feeling, butterflies for you. So maybe the idea that you're running with has something to do with being very honest and vulnerable with a relationship right now. If this isn't specifically to, like I said, some of you I feel like might not be specifically career when we're looking at that Fehu message, but it could just be what you put value and worth into. And maybe right now you're really valuing an idea that you can be doing with someone else, whether that's romantic or platonic. That could be showing up here as well, and feeling very grateful for maybe their response, or feeling really grateful for being honest. At the end of the day, sometimes it's just better to be honest and say what you're really feeling, even if it goes south. It could be still really wonderful to just get it out of your mind. So that's what I'm getting here, but in general, you just might be feeling really like lovey-dovey and grateful for the relationships in your life this month. So shifting back towards more of the energetic kind of field coming in here, we're going to pull a card or two. We'll see. You have quite a lot of cards here, so we might simplify your Virgo message, but this is going to be a Virgo season specific message. So when we think of Virgo season, we tend to think about things like practicality, planning, analytics, that kind of stuff, but it can also be things like refinement or clarity, understanding. There also can be more of a heart-centered to your brain center, kind of head-to-heart energy as well, connection. So we're going to see what comes through for you. So feel free, as always, to send your energy in. It does make a big difference. So what is coming in energetically for you for a lesson or advice coming through for you for Virgo season? Virgo season for group 3 here. Okay, so I'm going to just take the one, I think. I don't think you need too many cards, since you already have so much here. I don't want to overwhelm you. But what I think is really interesting is with all of this like fluttery, energetic feelings that you have going on here, we have the gardens, and the gardens showcase a pause, safety, and secrets. And whenever I see this too, it's not secrets in like a sly kind of way. I feel like it's more like when you write in your journal, like it's just like a secret, safe space for you to be honest and open in. And so this kind of relates, I feel like, to those true feelings, that gratitude feeling, being honest with someone, feeling like you can be really really vulnerable with someone. But I also am getting a feeling like with Virgo season being all about planning and getting things going and movement and all this energy that you've got going on already, the garden sort of holds a space for you, and the idea that you might be finding people or other things or hobbies in which they can hold you this month, because you already have a lot of expectations that you're putting on yourself with the ideas you're kind of birthing into the universe and all this good luck and all this stuff. What I'm getting with the gardens is just giving you this space to also not always have to constantly be working and improving and mending and refining things, right? Sometimes we need rest, and sometimes we need to allow ourselves to rest as well, and allow ourselves a comforting space as well. So it's also making sure that you temper that energy too, and that you aren't having so much momentum towards this idea that it kind of becomes a tunnel vision, and instead sort of still giving yourself pauses and spaces to kind of give you a period of grace, and not have so much on your shoulders. So that's what I'm also getting here with the gardens. So before we head off to your little bits and bobs details here with the charms, we are going to pull you an affirmation with these watercolor affirmations. But if you are enjoying the reading so far, it would be amazing if you could give this video a like. I really do appreciate anyone who does. And also let me know in the comments down below, either after or now, how it's resonating for you. I love to hear your thoughts. I love to see what you're seeing in the cards. Did you get butterfly feelings? Like, how are you feeling? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And also, if you would like to, definitely feel free to check out the Kindred tip jar down below, as well as everything that goes into that comes right back to the channel, into the decks that I get, into the supplies, into the gear for cameras and things. So that's very much appreciated as well. So let's go ahead and pull you a watercolor affirmation for the month and for Virgo season. Okay, I'm already feeling this one. So let's see, you have embraced your feelings. That's been coming up a lot, right? You have a lot in this mental mind space. And then on the flip side, you also have this very gentle, warming, vulnerable energy showing up here too. So there is something about wanting to embrace some sort of feeling, and it doesn't always have to be embracing feelings in like a sad or mad way. It can also just be embracing your feelings in like your joy and embracing your gratitude and really embracing those things. So maybe even it's giving me this feeling to actively make sure that the people in your life know that you're grateful for them. Make sure that they are aware that you're grateful for them and the abundance of love that they give and the support that they give. So that's what I'm getting here already from all of your cards. Let's go ahead and pull you some charms. So as always, feel free to send your energy in and see what comes through for you. So here we go. Group 3 for September and for Virgo season. Any guidance and advice for these last messages? Okay, let's see what you got here. All right, so I'm going to zoom you in a little bit here. I'm going to move this one up so you can see it, and we'll zoom you in a little bit further. So immediately, let's go ahead and talk about this mask. So we had it show up with the fuchsia, true feelings within you is all you need to know, charm next to gratitude. And this is putting your mask on. So whenever I see it this way, it means that the mask is off and that you aren't kind of, faking a smile or faking a feeling or whatever, or trying to kind of mask something. This is when you are. So there does seem to be this feeling of kind of hiding your feelings in some way, or trying to mask your feelings in some way. And so that might be another indicator to seek out why that might be, and reasons why you might feel like you need to kind of hold back those feelings, and seek out the different ways that maybe you could be a little bit more authentic, or maybe how you could feel more supported enough to do so within your relationships and your community. The other charms that came up here, we have the risk charm as well as the number 2 showing up here on the world card. So number 2 can represent also that you are asking for help or bringing on a team member or collaborating with someone, and maybe that feels a little risky for you, or maybe it's because you are wrapping up ends with someone and now you're having to do it on your own, and that might feel a little risky or a little bit like, uneasy for you because this is like a little gambling chip. So that's what I'm seeing here too. Like, you're kind of going on a gamble, you're kind of going with your gut and seeing what comes out of it. And it even felt like in your gut. So I think that's interesting too. Over here, we also have the, I was going to say safety pin, that's not what this is, a thimble charm. So this is usually to protect your finger as you are sewing and things like that, or to also push the needle forward, right? It's directing. A lot of people don't tend to think about it that way, but you actually can push the needle to not only protect your finger from it, but also to give it momentum. So there is this also more of that momentum feeling that I was getting earlier with this direct energy, this feeling of like, even when you look at this card, right, they're like literally directing and like directly moving something forward, much like a needle would. So it's making sure that you're very direct in your movements and very like on point with them. Not that you can't wander or play, but that's coming through. And then you have the pendulum charm showing up next to like the little grapes I always think of. Or I can also see this as a cluster. Whenever I see this charm, it makes me think of a cluster of something. But I'm mostly getting a feeling of like harvest, more of that gratitude energy. And maybe feeling a little wishy-washy about giving that gratitude again, or giving yourself that space. This also reminds me of that temperance energy, since it is a pendulum moving back and forth and not letting it swing too far one way or the other, to find that middle ground. And I think that middle ground comes from allowing yourself to not only have this momentum and excitement and direction, but also having the rest as well, which is definitely easier said than done. So planning that out and making time for both is really important, and kind of mediating that time. So those are all of the charms and cards here for you today. I truly do hope that this was useful to you moving into Virgo season, moving into these new energies on their way in for September for you, in whichever hemisphere you are, for spring or autumn on its way in. I truly do hope you found something useful, and if you did, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I love chatting with you. You can send me a DM or an email, things like that, whatever you'd like, on my Instagram community as well. But you can also give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and I put out new readings every single Monday as well, if you didn't know. So if you'd like to be a part of this community, if you want to be more in tune with each of these readings, then definitely feel free and consider subscribing, as I put out new readings every single Monday, as I mentioned, on spirituality, on career, on these different topics as well. And I even did a fun ASMR style last week, so if you didn't see that one, definitely feel free to check that one out as well. It's a timeless reading, great for studying or right before bed. But if you'd like to support this space even further, then definitely feel free to check out the different private readings and options that I have down below. I do snail mail readings, but I'm also doing some fun witchy stuff this month too for Mabon, for that temperance energy of the autumn equinox, that tempering between day and night. So this would be a great time to take advantage of that energy, of that temperance energy, if you'd like, in your life, using these Mabon papers. They're dear to my heart and my creative space, so definitely feel free to check all of the information on that down below if you're into that witchy kind of stuff. And yeah, I think that is everything. Thank you so much for being here, for participating in this and seeking out these messages for yourself, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.